Wigs for beginners. This is something that can very often be overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. So in today's Wigs 101 video, I'm going to give you my top 5 things that every new wig wearer needs to know when starting out on your wig journey. Welcome to the Wiggy Woman, where I give you wig and hair topper reviews and tutorials to help you have the easiest path forward on your hair loss journey. Today I wanted to break down the 5 most important things that every wig wearer should know before embarking on their wig journey. These are things that I have learned through my own experience with wearing extensions, hair toppers, and wigs. I'd like to save you some money, save you some time, and especially save you some heartache in your wig journey. So let's get started. So the very first tip that I have is don't get scammed. Sometimes the most expensive wig is what you think is the cheapest wig. When you are buying wigs online, it is very important to have a reputable retailer. So that is why in all of the descriptions for the Wiggy Woman, I will always put a link to the wig that I am wearing. So in this case, this is Renau Wigs Angie, and there will be a link to this particular wig at Wig Studio One, which is a retailer who I buy from a lot and I know is reputable. You don't want to just simply Google a style or look at Facebook ads exclusively, because sometimes you might think that you're finding a wig that looks like this or even this exact wig at a very, very deep discount, but sometimes those discounts are too good to be true. It's very common actually for a unreputable vendor to take images off of videos like this one or review videos from YouTube or Instagram and pretend like that is their own content. Or they take a stock photo from a high quality brand like Renau and use it to advertise for their very low quality wigs. So if you see a price that's too good to be true, please use some caution. Look at places like trustpilot.com, which can give you ratings for websites and retailers to let you know if something looks like a scam or if people have been scammed in the past. And also, you want to seek out other wig sisters. You can always reach out to me on Instagram at the Wiggy Woman to see if it's a retailer that I'm familiar with, or in my Support for Hair Loss Facebook group, we are always asking about whether or not somebody is reputable. But again, I do always put links to the actual wig at a very good retailer, which is Wig Studio One, if there's a wig on my channel that you happen to like. If you are a beginner at wearing wigs, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel and click the bell so that you never miss a wig review or tutorial that's posted weekly. My next tip for wigs for beginners is to trust the process. It is a process. It can sometimes be a little bit of trial and error. So if you want to save some money, you definitely want to buy from a reputable retailer who offers free returns. So a lot of unscrupulous vendors will say that they give you free returns, but in reality, you can't get a hold of them, right? So step 1 is definitely to have a reputable vendor, but there's lots of reputable vendors out there who do not offer full and free returns. So it is very important when you are first starting out. Sometimes something looks great on a picture or on a YouTube tutorial or a review that you might see, but everybody's face shape is a little bit different, our measurements are a little bit different, and just how a wig falls on someone's face, it can vary from person to person. So there's always gonna be a little bit of trial and error. It's just like when you buy clothes online, sometimes it just doesn't fit even though it's really cute. So you always wanna make sure that you have the ability to return that. And if you want some tips on how to maximize your return policy, you can check out that video right there. So wigs for beginner tip number 3 is to not limit yourself by the way that your own current biological hair looks. So if your biological hair is not your dream hair, go for it. You can have any hair in the world. You absolutely should reach for the stars. If you have always wanted to have long blonde hair, but you've only ever really been able to accomplish a short brown pixie cut, You are not limited to short brown pixie cuts. You can have the long blonde hair that you have always wanted. There is probably a wig out there for every single hairstyle that you can imagine. And if you've seen many of my other tutorials, even those wigs that, right out of the package, that's just a starting off point, there are lots of ways to really make these wigs your own. So absolutely, there is no reason to limit yourself to what you looked like before. This is your opportunity to have your dream hair, so take it. So my Wigs for Beginner tip number 4 is going to piggyback off of tip number 3 a little bit. And that is, you're not limited by what your old hair looked like, but many people do find that the way that they look in a wig is very different. And that's kind of the point, right? You're trying to fill in patches of hair loss or thinning hair. And by wearing a wig, you are going to be given a lot more density. The color is not going to be exactly what your color was before. And sometimes that can be really shocking. So the way that you want to work with that is to not just take a wig out of the box, put it on and say, no, and put it back. No, you want to give it some time. You want to give it some time to grow on you. It's not going to be like a piece of clothing in a sense that as soon as you put it on, you'll know, because this is something that's really going to change your entire appearance. It can change the way your face shape looks. If you see images of me in different wigs, depending on the length of the wig, the amount of curl, some of them are very slimming and some of them can give my face a little bit more of a rounder shape. So it really has a profound impact on your appearance, and you want to really get to know yourself in this new hair. Sometimes you'll put a wig on and you'll say, oh gosh, that is just, it's too weird. It doesn't look anything at all like what I would like. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes it doesn't look weird, it just looks different. So you're gonna wanna give yourself some time to really feel comfortable in your new wig. And that brings me to tip number 5. My 5th Wigs for Beginner tip is to ease into it. Go as fast as you are comfortable going. The most important part of wearing a wig is wearing it with confidence. The way that you feel about your wigs is going to be the way that everyone else around you is going to feel about your wigs. There are lots of people just in your day-to-day life who are going to be very supportive of you when you first put that wig on and you're not totally sure. The best thing to do is get on FaceTime with someone who knows you and knows about your hair loss struggles and knows what you're trying to accomplish. Get on the phone with them and, ask them, what do you think? If you just saw me on the street, do you think that this looks cute or do you think that this looks weird? Because they're going to give you an honest opinion and they know where you're coming from. And then just ease into it. Go to the grocery store where maybe you might not encounter too many people who are familiar with you and what your hair looks like on a day-to-day basis. You'll get up that confidence when someone eventually does ask you if your hair looks a little different to say, yeah, it does. Do you like it? In a very positive way, get that support that you deserve because this is your journey. If you have any questions along your hair loss journey, I would love to help you out. You can always send me a message on Instagram at The Wiggy Woman. You can leave a message down in the comments below, and I am always here for you anytime you need it. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up so that I know that you want to see more Wigs for Beginners content and tutorials. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't done so already, you can hit that subscribe button and be notified anytime a wig review or tutorial is posted weekly. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next week.